But today was bad. Light work, people. Light work. Seems we're soft all over the pitch. Knock, knock. Knock, knock. Pep.
Yeah.
It's the fucking Red Army. Pep. Wake up. Well, let me knock on your door 6 times.
Let him in.
Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of REDFELLAS, where we're here to discuss the dismantling, this absolute smashing of Leeds United, and more importantly, the reduction of the points difference to 3 points. We were sat here, people. We were sat here a few weeks ago when we were talking about an 11-point difference. And we were a bit despondent. We were a bit down. But tell me you guys didn't do fist pumps when you saw Jurgen Klopp at the end do those fist pumps. Because if you didn't do fist pumps, if your blood flow didn't get going, there's something wrong with you. Go and get checked out tomorrow. Do something. Get some, as Evan would say, vitamins. Get some vitamins, because I'm pumped. I hope you guys are pumped too. People in the chat, welcome. Like on your way in, like while you're here, or like on your way out. But just make sure you like, because we liked today, didn't we, people? Conray, what's happening, my friend? How are you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Pretty satisfied with that result. It's a great result, especially after the first 2 minutes. When Alisson likes to do the usual sometimes, when he doesn't do it often, but it can sometimes happen. But you know what? Unbelievable result. And the icing on the cake, I think, actually was Van Dijk getting a goal at the end as well. It was just if you could pick a team to play when we need to win a game in hands, it would be Leeds. But to still go out and just absolutely destroy them, especially when you have to consider goal difference might play a part in this title race. I know you don't primarily think of that, but looking back now, it's a brilliant result. So yeah, absolutely buzzing with tonight's performance, Grizz.
Ivan, I think you're the only one who had like live coverage, apparently, up to date coverage. We were about a few seconds behind and whatnot. And you saw it live and exclusive. You saw it in broad daylight where you are. How did it look over in California in broad daylight?
Well, Liverpool goals hit different when the sun's shining on your face through the living room window. Let me tell you that. Everyone does better in the sunshine.
Even we get that literally the community shield in the first day of the season, and that's it.
Yeah, hey, I've noticed. I'm pretty sure in Diaz's first game he got all 4 seasons in the space of 30 minutes at Anfield. I feel great. I feel fantastic. Also, I have a question, Grizz. Is the implication in the vitamins thing that you guys have a different word for vitamins?
So, I mean, I don't know. Keith and Conroy might disagree with you now. Like my fellow British folk might, but we call it vitamins.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So it's just
vowel sound. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Viagra, vitamins, whatever gets the pop.
Yeah. Okay. Calma. Whoa.
I don't think you'd go Viagra, to be
guys. This has all been a segue into our new sponsor.
I know.
Oh man, but Keith, man, I asked you and I wanted you to host today because you've never given up hope. You've always said, I don't give a shit what's happening. We're still in the title race. We will come strong. There were certain players that everyone had no doubts. You don't doubt a Liverpool player, but concerns. That's a good word for me. For me, that's a fucking amazing word. Some players we had concerns about certain players, but it all looks like it's settling down, and we're showing some form right now.
Absolutely. I lived and died by the mantra that nothing was won in January. And I'm very happy to see that the boys backed my gas. I've also been in a WhatsApp group, been telling people that we're going to win 4 trophies for the last several months. So again, not to curse anything, but you know, we're well on our way. I think the whole players thing, what's the most interesting is just how, if we look back through the season up until now, at situations and moments throughout this season, players have contributed at key times. Different players have popped in, had a little bit of a couple of moments, maybe dropped out a little bit, and we've had a conversation about them. Others have come in to replace them. I mean, you've got a situation now where 3 of our boys are having competitions in the Golden Boot and the Golden Assist rankings at the moment. So the sharing of responsibility is what I like the most about the season at the moment. So I think we can all be right. I think we've all been right and we've all been wrong at particular times of this season. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the certain views have been warranted, and maybe certain top reds like myself have been OTT with the backing, and then it's flipped on its head. So it's nice to see this toing and fro, and I think it's brilliant and it's great for competition.
It absolutely is. And look, your point about being right and wrong, I don't think there's I don't think it's black and white like that about being right and wrong. It's about being fans. It's about being reactionary. It's about being passionate. It's about giving your feelings on how you feel at the time. What I disagree with is having feelings and opinions set in stone.
Mhm.
That's the worst part of it, when you cannot accept that you may have been wrong or you may have been reactionary. Admit it. Say, yeah, man, who gives a fuck? I was wrong, I was right, I was happy, I was sad, I was angry, I was excited. And you give your reactions, especially fan channels. And that's what we are, man. We're not no fucking pundits that get paid for this shit. We're a bunch of guys, regular guys, that give our reactions. And some of us have overreactions, some of us have underreactions, as the case may be. But Conroy, talking about reactions, the lineup comes out and we make 5 changes from the 7 changes that we made in the last game. I think the majority of the selection was okay in terms of surprise-wise. We expected Matip or Konate. We expected Thiago, Fabinho. Some thought Elliott. Some thought Naby. I don't think anyone thought Jones. How did you feel when you see the lineup?
Yeah, I'm quite happy, Grizz. I think we've mentioned this a few weeks ago. Jones seems to come up every week, to be honest, if it's either praise or maybe people being too hard on him. But the one thing that's kind of stuck out through that is Klopp has a lot of faith in Jones. Even in some interviews when he spoke about him, you can tell he rates him very highly. So in that, I wasn't actually surprised he started. I was quite happy. It gives him an opportunity to come in and show what he can do. It also probably gave us a little indication to the cup final and who will start in that game. I thought anyway, listen, I might be wrong there, guys, but to me, that kind of indicated our midfield free for the final, all being well. But on the fact Jones, I was happy because I think sometimes we do forget that he's just a 21-year-old. You know, he's 21-year-old. Not everyone at 21 can reach their peak. Well, I think especially in England right now, you're quite fortunate to have several youngsters who are just playing levels above for their age. So I think it was really good to watch Jones tonight and see how he got on. But when I saw that, Grizz, I was it made me intrigued to watch how he'd get on in that position tonight.
Yeah, I was as well. You know, I was surprised, Evan, with the selection of Jones. But I absolutely understood it because we done the preview yesterday, and we were speaking about, and I brought up about the fact that how Leeds try to play one-on-one everywhere on the pitch, and therefore in midfield we tend to pick our most technically gifted midfielders, and I think, you know, Curtis Jones absolutely comes in that category in terms of technically gifted. His ability to receive the ball under pressure was evident today. It showed. His ability shone through every time there was a couple of times in the first half an hour where we thought, I thought, I'm not going to speak for you, where I thought, settle down, Curtis, settle down, get hold of the ball, assess and I'm not making excuses for him or anyone, but the conditions look wild. I had a few mates who were at the ground, and they said it was very windy. But so maybe that was affecting him. But he settled down and he showed why Jurgen Klopp possibly thought when selecting him in terms of his one-on-one ability to be pressed and still be under control of the ball. Is that how you saw it as well? Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a team that's as gung ho off the ball as Leeds, you're definitely tempted to pick the guys who are best at ball retention. You're spot on about Curtis in the sense that it took him a little bit to grow into the game. First 10, 15 minutes was rough. Didn't seem to make the decisions quickly enough. Didn't seem to be able to retain the ball. But, I mean, all you have to say is it looks like a guy who's on the inexperienced side and a guy who spent the previous 2 matches being out of the squad. So he's not exactly match fit per se, or, sharp, whatever word you want to use.
I think sharp's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not sharp. All these other guys have been around him, have been playing constantly. And, I think the excuses you could make for Curtis even a year, maybe this time last year before that, is that he's played in a lot of Frankenstein teams and in some mismatched midfields. He's played without real center backs behind him. He's played next to third and fourth choice midfielders. There was absolutely no excuses today other than he might not have been the sharpest. He's playing with the best midfield duo in world football, in my opinion. And he absolutely, once he grew into the game and got over that, rut he fell into in the first 10 to 15, he absolutely looked like the tactically wise choice because he was able to retain the ball, absorb the pressure, drop the shoulder. In ball retention I wish more people appreciated ball retention because it's such a difficult thing to do in the Premier League, especially when teams are pressing the hell out of you, which Leeds are prone to do. So absolutely, once he got out of that rut, like I said, he definitely proved himself to be the tactically sound choice. I'm definitely in agreement with you.
It's actually, again, Keith, you're probably the best man to come to in terms of this when we have a perception of a player that is probably not the first name on the sheet. He's one of the younger players. He's frustrating because stylistically, he may not appeal to everyone. Stylistically, sometimes it may not seem that he's in the intensity of the game. Yet, his ball retention skill levels are truly, I believe, world class. The rest of his game, he absolutely will improve with experience, with age, by just playing. And I think Evan's spot on about in terms of rustiness, and I'm going to put it down to rustiness, that opening half an hour. And again, it kind of so easy to just label it at him. But there was a few players that I thought in the first 10, 15 minutes didn't really settle down. Or did you think we were at it from the start? How did you think? How did you see it?
I mean, if we're going to speak about first kind of 15 to 30 minutes, the general feel of play, I thought our best version of ourselves was in the counter press. So when we didn't have the ball, I thought that's where we were good. When we did have the ball, I thought we were a bit rusty. I didn't think our build-up play was really anything to go by. I mean, Curtis Jones, just going back to your point on him, it's a lot of pressure. The fact that this boy has been effectively kicked out of 2 squads to then come in and effectively you feel that situation like, okay, shit, I've got an opportunity here. That's extra pressure being put on you because you've not even been on the bench for the past 2 games.
I don't think he expected it. Maybe you're right. You probably didn't expect it. Yeah.
I would have been a bit like, shit, like, fuck. You feel everything, like every pass, every movement. But the one thing that he did do, first of all, I totally agree with Evan. I think the way he keeps the ball, like he almost lowers his center of gravity, like keeps players away from getting that ball. I think he's brilliant at that. And I think the frustration almost is sometimes that he actually does have the quality to score a goal, to put in a pass, to make an assist. And sometimes maybe the confidence doesn't always allow him to do that.
Overthinks it, hesitates sometimes.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's exactly that. A bit of hesitation, but he did have legs. And he had legs for the counter press. And those legs for the counter press was exactly what we needed in this situation tonight, because I thought Leeds, were brave with the ball at their feet. They tried to play around us, to try to play triangles, but I thought we were just absolutely brilliant in winning that ball back as quickly as possible and attacking in their half. But yeah, going back to what you said earlier, I think in our half, when we were the build-up play, I didn't feel the build-up play was anything special. And again, we had Thiago on the pitch tonight, who we herald with praise in when we talk about holding the ball, looking after the ball, moving the ball into triangles. I didn't think any of them were particularly effective in looking after the ball. But again, what Jones needed to do and what needed to be was the counter press we needed, those legs. And I think that was crucial in us getting our foot in the door, if you will.
No, you're absolutely spot on. I mean,
Chris, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to link to Keith's point there. I wanted to ask you the question, everyone the question. Remember at the weekend we said, do you think Klopp is, in the back of his mind, it's like Elliot, it's Thiago's, the consistency, Fabinho's in the team, the kind of resurgence of Henderson. Do you think it's in his mind that he rates him so highly that he thought tonight was a good confidence booster again? Like he's been thinking for a few weeks that I'll give him that game. That's your game. Just his kind of man management skills. Do you think that played a part in it? Or
yeah. Go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, I think so. We spoke about it again in terms of how he's managing these players behind the scenes. None of us know, but you can always tell from body language. You can always tell from the morale. You can tell from the mood. You can tell from the visibly most of the time as well. And he's got everyone singing from the same hymn sheet. And you're right, Keith's absolutely spot on. Like from the outside, do you remember we had so many people asking questions in our chat as well? Like, what's with Jones not being in the squad? You know, we've got a fucking huge squad, people. Someone's going to get left out. Today, Gomez and someone else was left out from the squad, apart from the Bobby and Jota are injured, but there was Gomez and someone else. And you could ask the same question. Was
Keita left out?
No, Keita was in. Was in. I can't remember now. It may come to me. But the point being, it's such a fantastic squad. And it's the first time, though, guys, and this is brilliant. It's exciting. Elliot, there you go, Eunice. Eunice, always the valuable member of the chat. Elliot and Gomez out of the squad. Does that mean Elliot and Gomez are done with just because they've been left out of the squad? So, we got to keep it real. But I agree with your point in terms of, Conrad, in terms of picking out games that he knew he was going to play certain people. That's why I don't think when Klopp talks in press conferences, we should take it on face value or anything. The guy's a fucking genius in the background.
Stop listening. We're always going to listen, but genuinely,
stop listening. The things that he says and whatever. He's a fucking genius, and it's not all about hugs and fist pumps and whatnot. As he's showing and as he's proving. But I was going to ask you, Conrad, but it's good you've asked me. I like it when I get away from the hosting duties sometimes. Keith bottled it today.
I thought I was going to forget, Chris. So I was like, I better say it now.
No problem. Keith bottled hosting today, so we're going to remember that, people. We're going to remember that. But Conrad, your time is coming. But Conrad, first 15 minutes, look, Leeds started how we thought they're going to start, but you could straight away see the fucking empty spaces in midfield once you beat a man, or once you just with a body swerve or a pot or a 1-2, you're just at their back four, and we get a goal, we get a penalty. Your thoughts on that build up and the move and whatnot? Because I know it came from your side.
Of course. But in all fairness, I think the person who deserves the shout out is like there's a good tweet during the week, and it was saying, "Look at this by Luke Shaw," and then someone said, "Robbo literally does this every match," and I feel like you expect that from Robertson, but Diaz deserves the praise for me for the link up and the movement, because it's not just like simple passes. He's trying through balls. I just thought they look so natural together again tonight. And obviously, I think it's good play. There's a few kind of near miss plays down that side. Then I've actually forgot who plays the ball to Robertson on the transition, I think it is. And as you said, Chris, there was so much space. It got to the point where like we could finish this game by half time if we're smart here. And then obviously the ball comes wide to Robbo. It's a good cross. Say he puts it in a dangerous area, and it's Dallas, who I actually think he's quite unfortunate. It's one of them. I think it is a penalty. I just think it's unlucky, but it is a handball. And it's a clear penalty. We'll talk about the other penalty later on, Chris, because I think that might be an interesting debate. But we get the penalty, and then who else is going to take it? Obviously, Mo Salah, who, if I remember, he's obviously had at the AFCON, he scored a few penalties there. So he gets it. And to be honest, I think it's a great penalty. I always find them fascinating. I've said this before. I do think there's penalty kick takers out there who I'd be like you would put your mortgage on Salah at penalties now, right? We all agree that, but there is more penalty kick takers who make you more comfortable. Do you know what I'm saying? But
absolutely. Oh, every time,
that's my
Evan.
fault though. Maybe that's me being naive. You know what I mean? Because he scores most of the time, and it is a superb penalty, and we're 1-0 up, and then we're all smooth sailing. Because as we said, the Alisson mistake in the first few minutes maybe made us a little bit edgy, but it was a great start.
Absolutely, hands up. I forgot about that first incident, and thank you, Conroy, for reminding me that. Evan, you get the go at that incident. I love Alisson, man. He's the fucking best keeper I've ever seen for Liverpool. But Evan, he does have this game. He has this. Is it a weakness? Is it a confidence? Talk to me. So, wherever it is, I know all keepers have one element of self-destructness that they sometimes show. This guy does take. I've been there so many games where I've been one of those. Just when he's got caught, and I think to myself, someone a little bit quicker catches you there. David, what's his name? Dan James. I was going to say David James.
David James, absolute throwback.
Dan James is a shit player, but he's a fucking little.
He's lightning. He is actually lightning. He is quick as anything.
What happens to Alisson when he does this? What is it? I don't know. Break it down.
Listen, I was thinking about this at halftime. I was talking aloud with my friend. We were watching the game, and we came to the conclusion that maybe when you're not doing anything, like literally anything in the game, and then you receive a pass and you're required to be as up to speed as the players who have touched the ball 30 times already, maybe it takes your brain a little bit to dust the cobwebs off. That's the only thing I can come up with, but it's a reoccurring theme in this game. He does take too long on the ball sometimes. I was a bit annoyed that he's giving Van Dijk and Trent a hard time because they're not showing for him. Just kick the ball away, man. Just put the ball. Just kick the ball away, man.
He tried to give them a hard time, right? For the first reaction was like to try to give a hard time. Then he realized, oh shit, they've turned their back on me. They know I fucked up. I know I fucked up. And then you could see his body language is like, okay, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And then he just lumped it every time after that.
Yeah, I'm okay with keepers lumping the ball, and the whole pass out of the back thing. It's something that I think we've all kind of like learned to stifle our anxiety because we know that we're good at it. We're one of the few teams in world football that can do it to this level, and we know the benefits of it. But in those moments where we can all see, oh shit, he doesn't have as much time as he think he has, and you could see it from like 2 or 3 seconds before. You could see his brain is just behind Dan James's in the sense of knowing where the ball is. So yeah, but it's got to be some weird. I would love to see a study on it. Compare his first touch in the game to his 4th or 5th as a keeper in a game where he has nothing to do. Saying.
Do you not think as well sometimes, guys, because the top keepers play it from the back, but like I think actually the commentary smashed it. They said like a Guardiola team, when Guardiola first came, is basically said, or any passing manager has said, if he makes 1 howler a season or 2 howlers a season, but we start this amount of attacks for it, they won't care because that's the way they play. But the thing is, I think with Alisson in his head sometimes is what I think, because I think you're right as well, Evan. I sometimes think it's like, if he can delay as long as possible and get that player to press him, that takes a man out of their attack, allowing the transition to be quicker. And I think you're right, Evan, because I think sometimes he's great at judging that, but when he's maybe not as sharp, that player who he thinks is 3 yards away is actually 1 yard away, and it's Dan James who's rapid. And I think you're absolutely right.
Conroy, I agree with you. Then that may be an element of playing chicken, right? But as a goalkeeper, that's fucking crazy, man.
I think there's a different. I agree with you, Conroy, and I agree with everyone who agrees with me. Good job. But I think there's a difference between playing chicken with the attacker and just your brain just being half a second behind. Because we've seen the keeper who'll like fake the pass and the attacker goes sliding past, and the crowd's like, hey, you know, I mean, but there's a difference between that and just actually not knowing how close Dan James is to you.
Yeah,
so.
literally.
Yeah.
Just sticking with you, Evan, before we move on, was it a penalty? Actually, we go round.
Which one?
The Alisson.
Oh no.
He gets lucky though.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. He's fortunate not to be dispossessed. He's fortunate not to concede a goal. He's fortunate not to concede a penalty. But when you look at it, he unintentionally makes an incredible tackle because his heel drags. I'm not BSing you. It's funny.
No. I agree. That's what happened.
Like, it's so funny. He's so behind. He's like literally his Wi-Fi is he's like 50% on his Wi-Fi. He's lagging. He's playing FIFA on a bad connection, and he somehow makes an incredible tackle. He does hit James, but it's him.
It's like his heel touches.
Yeah, it's him dragging the ball with his heel first that saves him. He's fortunate in that way, but it's never a penalty. I don't even think there was a VAR check.
Any of you guys think it was a penalty?
Nah, I just think he needs. I just want to know if there's a correlation between his barbecue and wine drinking at certain moments.
If anybody knows that, it would be you, my brother.
Yeah. No, dude, come on.
I think it looks like a penalty, Grizz. I think it looks like a penalty, right, when you're watching it. And I think when you see it again, I think it's incredibly lucky that it hits his heel, because I think if it doesn't, Dan James touches it and it's 100% could be a penalty then, because he's just going to take him out. But I think you're right. I think his heel saves him, Evan. It's very lucky, though.
Yeah, he does. Look, we get away with that, and then we go up the other end. We get a penalty, which in years gone by, people would have said is unfortunate for us, unfortunate for the defending team. But in this day and age, it's a clear penalty because that's the rule. Keith, in the 18th minute, Junior Firpo sort of goes into a ludicrous lunge on Fabinho. And I think he goes in on Fabinho because even in that 18-19 minutes, Salah has terrorized him already, like caused him to absolutely shit his load every time he gets the ball. I thought in the end, he done amazingly to stay on the pitch. But then Salah, you could see Salah again was in the mood. Puts the penalty away. And then just sort of it's our front three. I want you to talk to me about the front three because it's mixed reviews, mixed opinions. And I think I'm the one who's got the take that I'm going to get abused for. But there has to be one of us, right? Mm-hmm. Always one of us has to have the bad take. I think the best attacker in that opening period was Luis Diaz. I think Salah was okay. I think Mane was poor. Now, come back with me with whatever you're saying. I thought Luis Diaz was absolutely the best attacker out of the three. I know we won 6-0, and this is fucking mad from Grizz Khan. But I don't see the cohesion in our front three as a three. Interlinking and in the interplay. That's just my opinion. Call it wild. Say what you want. Go for it.
I think it comes down to the fact that you've got... So I thought a lot of our play went down the left-hand side in that first 15, 20 minutes, and Luis Diaz took full advantage of it. I actually think he probably does score the opener if Mane doesn't make an incredible block. And probably one of the best blocks of any defender that entire game because he manages to get in the way when it was going top corner. I think it's really interesting. You should make the point that it doesn't look that intricate because in the two games that Divock Origi has come onto the pitch and played through that middle, I feel like the balance has looked a little bit more. The front three has looked a little bit more balanced. Sadio Mane is not an out-and-out centre forward, and I think a lot of them are looking for a similar type of pass, a similar type of interplay, and to do similar type of things. So it's going to take some time for them to get used to it. I'd agree with you. I thought Salah was quiet. I thought not much went down his side at all. I thought Sadio did what Sadio always seems to do. I got a theory about Sadio. I wonder sometimes if it's, sometimes in life, after you get to the top, right? You're indispensable. You've done so much. You've achieved so much. You're not as scrappy as you used to be. You're not as intense. You're a bit more laid back because you know that things are going to happen because you've got the quality. I feel like Mane plays football like that sometimes. Very laid back, very chilled. Like if the ball bobbles off me, which it usually does, I don't really mind. I'll get a pass wrong. I'll underhit a pass. I won't necessarily, I feel sometimes that's the type of football I see him play. Whereas maybe a couple of years ago, because he had a point to prove and he was still up and coming and he was still, the man, does he belong in this environment, that I felt he was a little bit more intense when the ball came his way. But then you can argue that Sadio Mane, Salah, they always just find opportunities and moments to influence a football match. And it really is now, we're back to the debates we used to have like a couple of months ago, the rich man problems, right? It's kind of like, right, cool. Do you take looking good and getting your passes right or not under hit, or do you take the influence of football matches? And arguably, obviously, you guys are about to talk about the next two events, arguably, which, again, Salah and Mane, who were very quiet in the game, would ultimately go on to influence. So yeah, that's the kind of debate. Is what do you want at the moment? Is it to look good or is it to influence football matches in situations where we weren't exactly carving them open, right? We weren't exactly creating 100 chances. Our best chances were either coming from Luis Diaz or coming from Joel Matip, Mirandering from centre back. So that's how I kind of saw it today. Influential, yes. Effective in build-up play, not so much.
Yeah, I think people have corrected me and made me see a bit of the light, which I'm happy to do. I'm one of those people that, if I miss something, you correct me, and I absolutely humble myself because keep smashing the likes, people. There's nearly 320 of you in here. Keep smashing those likes because we've got a lot to get through. Whereas someone said this, made a brilliant point. Something about. Here we go. They've only had 2 weeks to build that chemistry. It needs time. And we're one of the best examples of our front three having so much time together. Conroy played for like 3-4 seasons together. And to build that chemistry is not easy. Even though Diaz has looked wonderful. There's an absolute brilliant point by MBA, isn't there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this has not been planned as well. It's due to circumstances that, let's not beat around the bush, guys. He ideally doesn't want to play Mane as the centre forward, but because of Jota and Firmino's injuries. But I think he knows, though, if he plays them against Leeds, especially the way Leeds play, they don't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be a passable Firmino performance by Mane, because he knows on our counter-attack, that front three is going to cause issues if it's either through movement or through runs. Even that chance, he said the one that hit Mane, Keith, Diaz should actually probably play Mane in as well. So I feel like it's been fine. It's been good. It's not been better than fine. It's been very good. But
amazing. How many goals? Fuck's sake, it's mad.
That's it. And I feel like ideally it's going to be a Jota or Firmino going forward, even possibly a Diaz. You mentioned that as a false nine potentially, Grizz, or playing in that centre forward role. So even if it's a fourth option, fifth option that you play those front three, it's still the attack. If that can improve with more time training and playing together, it's probably our fifth option. And if that's a pretty good fifth option, I've got to be honest, because I think most teams in the league, you could still hurt them. Even with Sadio Mane, I think, Chris, you said at the very start of the season, we need to stop viewing Mane what he was. And I still think, listen, that resurgence with Senegal, he was very good in that tournament. So I feel like he's still got those performances in him. Like against Spurs, like he can do that. But I think first and foremost, he's very effective for this team. Like they just look like two tap-ins tonight, but he can score important goals. The goal against Norwich is an important goal. It's a relief goal because he stepped up and we needed someone to step up. It looks easy now that we're always going to win, but there's a little bit of doubt before he scores that. So I think it's a very good thing to have Mane, and he is still important to the team. But the way I look at Mane is I don't even look if it's like an 8 out of 10 performance now, but he ends up getting 2 goals and he's got 10 goals this season, so he's effective for the team. And I think, look, I'm not going to get a bit too deep here, guys, but in football in general in the last couple of years, I think if you're effective, right, effectiveness is the most important quality in football. now. And it's not about like, we've had many football spaces, Keith, you heard about Hazard this, or is this player better, like because they've had more goals or contributing more for the team. I feel like Manny now is a good example of, if you can still be good for the team, it's still very important.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're coming. There's a comment there I want to bring up, but I just want to get through a super chat first before we move on. He says, "Assalamu alaikum, evening guys. Quadruple is on? Question mark. Hell yeah. We must offer contracts to Salah and Mane. Never seen Klopp so zealous. Sunday is the first of 4. Let's go."
Getting me excited now, mate. You're getting me excited. Oh,
Yeah.
Grizz literally would not speak about it for 4 days, man. He's like not even talking.
We're allowed to now. I've said until after we smashed Leeds, let's bring on Chelsea. Neverman is in the building. And Neverman says Matip sprinkled some garlic into his bangers and mash today.
I know what that is. I know what those are.
And you know, Evan, the way
That's
plan
the merch. That's the merch. Bangers and mash.
the way I plan these segues, it comes to you. He mentions bangers and mash. He mentions Matip. He mentions we've been crying and you've been crying out for Matip one of these days to put an end to one of these mazy, silky, amazing, dreamy runs, right? So take the floor, man.
So I thought I was having a bit of a hallucination because I saw Joel Matip assume the form of Ronaldo Nazario at Anfield and chip the goalkeeper. It was a bit insane. It was a bit wild. Once I had recovered from the initial terror and anxiety and realized that I wasn't in fact hallucinating, it was a very enjoyable experience. It was only a matter of time. We're talking about a guy who only last week got a nutmeg assist in front of the cop. So it was only a matter of time before he meandered into the box and finished better than certain rival teams' 100 million pound strikers. So it really was a ticking time bomb, shall we say. Let's give some credit to Mohamed Salah. Let's put some respect on his name as a playmaker, because as a playmaker today, he was incredible. And, you know, listen, I'm so happy for Joel Matip. And the best part of that goal, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now because it was such an insane experience. The best part about that goal is Virgil coming over and laughing at him. Not congratulating him, but laughing at him, because Joel Matip has scored a goal with his foot, and it was a really nice goal, and it was a really difficult finish, and he made it look easy, and he's a center back. And yeah, that's all I can say on Joel Matip's goal. I could die happy right now, Grizz, to put it simply.
You're spot on, Conroy, Evan. It's the perfect goal, and as Paulie Walnut says, Keith he's the perfect player, isn't he, to break this one-on-one press that Leeds employ against everyone, and that's why we. This is where I think there's a naiveness, and there's a sheer stupidity from an opposing coach when you know that you're going to play against the best back four when it comes to technical ability on the ball in Europe, bar none. Like, you're talking Trent Alexander-Arnold, are two centre-backs who can easily fucking play in 75% of the Premier League's midfields, right? Easily, maybe more, right? And Robertson as well. 4 of the best ball-playing defenders, and you're still employing this man-on-man business when you know, because even Virgil threatened to do it a couple of times, didn't he? Right? Even he threatened to do it. And Trent played within himself, I thought, today, and said, look, pass the baton on to Matip and do what you do. How much did you smile and enjoy that fucking whole move from Joel Matip, man?
Well, I don't even think that was the most outrageous thing he did on the football pitch, because in the first minute, right, the ball comes over and he stops it from going for a corner by flicking it over in the box, flicking it over himself, drops down and he just clears it. And I'm just thinking, the audacity of this man. And, you know, if anyone watched the training videos, you probably know that Joel Matip was definitely in the mood after nutmeg and after just nutmeg, like Evan said about the nutmeg Norwich assist. You know, what's really interesting about the almost like what Klopp has to pick now is an interesting dilemma, because you know it shows that in games where we're going to play teams like Leeds or teams that are going to be either man-for-man marking or low block, Joel Matip is our best playmaker in these games, and he has been time and time again this season. He's probably had more successful dribbles in these type of games where we're playing teams outside the top six and more ball progression because he's got so much space. The difference today, you mentioned about the man-to-man marking. I think it was Shackleton. All he had to do was just stand in his position and stop Matip going, but instead decided to man mark and effectively just let Matip just glide through. So Leeds' naivety cost them there, but at the same time, Joel Matip's ability to do that is far beyond any centre-back I can see in world football at the moment. No one's doing what he did there. So it's brilliant to have him in these situations, in these type of games, and then to have Konate maybe a more, in situations like Inter away. So now all of a sudden we've got fucking options. Like we talk about options. I mean, that's ridiculous that, we can now decide, okay, do we need our playmaker today? Or actually do we need speed, strength and situations where we're going to defend? So great headache for Klopp to have. Beautiful just to see Joel Matip have, play more games, I think, this season than he's done in 3-4 seasons combined.
Since his time here. Yeah, it's mad.
It's incredible. It's so good to see the ankle injuries kind of, left him and he's having this game. And for me, he in that first half, for me, he was absolutely outstanding. Probably our best player in that first half by a mile. And yeah, the goal was just absolutely deserved.
It was, and obviously Evan touched upon the Salah pass, and we're going to get on to sort of things about Salah later as we have to. You can't have a Liverpool podcast anywhere, any day of the week.
That might be one of his best assists, though, in the sense of, no, maybe I'm being unfair, but I'm left-footed, so when I play, and obviously Mo Salah is a much better footballer than me, obviously, guys, but for him, like, with the right foot that confidently, I know he can, it's a myth that he can't, but to me, that pass highlights the level he's playing at. Like, because, okay, he could cut in and score a screamer, cutting on his left foot, but we've seen that before. And I know we have seen this before, but right now, I just think his decision-making is at all-time high. And Evan, I'd say tonight, now I'll have to rewatch it, because I actually thought Salah, we're going to get into it, but it's funny. I think it was actually, there's so many instances where his decision-making was, I'd say clutch, but it was just so... I just thought, yeah, you can see the evolution of the player. I thought tonight was another good example. Ironically, I think when he played Leeds at Anfield last year in the 4-3 game, I thought was a similar performance where you could see him at that level. But I thought tonight decision making was up here, superb.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with you, Conroy, because Red Steve, and I'm absolutely with him. Again, I was watching the game and I knew the game's over, right? I knew we'd won. I knew we've won basically when sort of the 2-0, when Matip scores, it's all over anyway, yeah? But then when Salah scores that, when Salah gets the third penalty, right? And I'm thinking, all this, like literally what Steve says, all this, and we haven't hit top gear. I don't think we came out of second gear. I'm not going to lie, people. People may disagree and say, no, you're being harsh. I genuinely didn't think we're playing well, guys. I don't know, Conroy.
Certain partnerships, I think Diaz and Robbo started quite strong, quite effective, and maybe because they got the penalty for that. But I think when you get the goals that early, Grizz, it just knocks it. You saw what happened to Inter Milan. They were played amazing, and then Firmino gets that header, and the stuffing's knocked out of him. So maybe that. But I do agree. I think Red Steve's got a great point, because I remember watching it, and it was like, I wouldn't say we went to our full gear against Norwich, but we really had to push it to get us going, to wake up. But tonight I felt like I would agree. I think that's a very good point. But on that penalty, Grizz, I want to ask you this one, because I saw your tweet.
I want to ask the others first.
I'll ask Evan first and Keith. I always love, right, because we're all outspoken in a sense. If we believe it, we'll tweet it or say it. We don't care. We don't it's just noise around us. It's not for, like, we're not just agreeing with people. So Evan, what did you think of the Mane foul? Did you think that was a penalty?
It's a clear penalty. It's a stonewall penalty. Fouls him in two different ways. It's a stonewall penalty.
What are those two ways?
He drags him, you got a hand on the shoulder. Anytime you're the last man, you got a hand on the shoulder, you're in trouble.
It's a contact sport, though, so it has to be a significant grab.
But yeah, you're allowed to touch a player. I see what you mean, Conroy, but when you're the last man and you have a hand on the shoulder of an opponent who is twice as fast as you, you're in trouble. He also trips Mane's heel. So it's the double jeopardy that saves him from being sent off, and it's the double jeopardy it's the double jeopardy that saves him a red card, but it's the double jeopardy nature of his foul.
Who's next?
That concedes the pen. And I'm sorry. Am I the only one who watched the game? My opinion is the only one who matters. So
I've not gave my opinion. I'm not gave mine yet. I was only playing devil's advocate. Keith, what did you think?
Well, see, I definitely did not watch the game live. But
guys, the analysis doesn't weigh the same. I just want to
I watched it.
I was watching highlights. No, very clever penalty in my opinion. Very clever, because I thought that touch from Mane, I thought, fuck, he's fucked it. He's fucked it.
You could argue he only fucks it. He's getting fouled.
Keith's turned around. He's ready for the goal kick.
Honestly, like when I saw the situation like happen, because the first thing I thought to myself was, I thought he's fucked it, right? He's fucked it. It's goal kick, whatever. Then the second time when they do the replay, I thought, all right, cool. He's made contact outside the box, but Sadio obviously knows that contact is coming. Like, Sadio is not a stupid player. Like, the myth that always precedes about Mane being, holier than thou is absolute bullshit. He knows what he's doing. So I thought it was a bit like, if that was against us, I'd be like, fuck me, it's one of them ones. But the rule book says it's a penalty, and I thought Mane was exceptionally clever for what was a shit touch.
We're pulling out the rule book to decide that was a penalty. It's Stonewall. Stonewall. Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Here we go.
I think. No. Hey, listen, man. Come on, man.
I'm kidding.
Opinions. Come on, opinions.
I'm kidding.
So I agree with people that are saying, "Oh, I lost it now." In my humble opinion, and I watched it live. I'm not like Keith, right? My instant reaction was, it's got to be a red card, because the foul, without a shadow of a doubt, starts from outside the box. He knows he's got away from him. Luke Ayling isn't catching Sadio Mane. So therefore, Luke Ayling has to do whatever he has to do to bring him down without A, getting a red card, B, not making it so obvious. So what he does initially is try to get him off balance. And how you try to what he does initially is try to pull him back from outside. So therefore, it's not a penalty, because that's where the foul has started. This is just my take on it. As he realizes Sadio Mane is a fucking strong beast, you can't just put him off by just a little drag. He gets into the box. Then what Luke Ayling does is the second part of defender strategy, is try to make contact without making it obvious that he's intentionally done it. But what Sadio has done, and I agree with Keith, is absolutely knows that his touch has been atrocious. His first, second, possibly his second or third touch. I think his second or third touch is atrocious. He's not getting it, and he's absolutely bought that penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, but I think it was a definite red card, because it happened outside, and the referee, I think, made the easier decision of giving the penalty. Now, obviously, Liverpool fans went mad at me, and people are saying it's a stonewaller. No problem, man. We won the game 6-0. We're fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I just think if that was against us, I would be fuming, because there was not much fouling done once he's done the initial fouling, which was the foul. That's just my opinion on it. Conroy, you asked a question. I think you have the final say as a rule of law or thumb, or by asking.
Choose wisely, Conroy. Choose wisely.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think, as you say, the referee is been smart about it, because if, as I say, Luke Ayling, I agree with you, Grizz, done the foul, the pull to start, but then Liverpool, if he pulls it back for a free kick, and then they look at it when Ayling leaves his left leg out and Mane goes over, I think the VR review that, and there's enough to give it as a penalty, because there's still enough contact. I actually am a bit more sympathetic with Ayling. I do think he's trying something, but it's unfortunate, but it's still a penalty for me, because he just basically, either if he means it unintentionally, Grizz, or he means to stick a leg out, he still stops Mane. I do think you're right, though. I think Mane could have stayed on his feet if the touch was closer. However, I do think it's a penalty, and I think again it was a very good decision because I think Michael Oliver had a brilliant game. And actually, just on this, obviously, I'm going to say that because I'm one of the people who sticks up for refs. But Michael Oliver is the best ref in the country. He's a very good ref. And see, the first goal, actually, I meant to say, Grizz, that comes from Michael Oliver playing at advantage or letting Liverpool take a free kick quickly. So just maybe give him praise because he is actually a good ref. But I think he got it right. What I would say though is the double jeopardy rule. The way they kind of talk about it is, you basically, if you push or pull someone, that's like no chance you can win the ball that way, so it's a straight red. But if you try to go for the ball or it's maybe not deliberate, accidental, they can't punish you. And I think that's fair enough. For me, I don't think it's a red. I think he's, as you say, Grizz, he's waved away the pulling one and just focused on the penalty, which suited us, to be honest. So I understand why he's gave him a yellow card, because you want to try and keep 11 men on the park as long as you can. So I actually thought it was quite a correct call.
I think we would be fuming if it was a bigger team and more right, if we were behind or whatever the situation was. Yeah, a better team and a tighter situation, that wasn't a red card. Then you see, this is my argument, because if he thinks that's a foul and that's a penalty, that's a clear denying of a goal scoring.
But he might say there's not enough proof that it was deliberate, and that's why he gives him the benefit of doubt.
I think what saves.
But that's where the deliberate foul was initiated first.
No, I get what you're saying with the pull, and I do get it.
That's the deliberate foul to deny a player going through to get a goal scoring opportunity.
Would you rather have a free kick or a penalty though?
Oh no, absolutely, you know yeah, absolutely. But
I get what you're saying, guys.
I think it's an easier decision for the referee to give the penalty. I think
if it's 1-1, I get what you're saying. I do. If it's against Man City and it's like a penalty or a free kick, they go down to 10 men. I get what you're saying. It'd be interesting if that ever happens.
Grizz, I think what we might all be failing to consider is that the interpretation of the VAR check might be that the pull from Ayling, that you're right, is initiated before Mane gets into the box. That's what would be the free kick offense. I think they went to the VAR and saw the pull wasn't what impeded Mane from scoring. It was the unintentional clipping of the heels that actually occurred inside the box. I think that's what Ayling is being called for. That's what keeps him on the pitch, and that's what ultimately makes it a penalty. Because they could argue in the VAR box that the pull, they're going to play advantage through that because Mane is still on his feet. Mane gets
But check this out. And I have absolute zero proof. But I'm so sure that if the referee doesn't give that on the pitch, that does not get reversed on VAR. Thoughts?
I disagree, because VAR clearly shows a trip in slow motion. It's pretty clear. I mean, if anything, VAR strengthens Michael Oliver's on-field decision.
I get what you're saying with that one, Chris. Like, I do get what you're saying, because there is decisions at times.
I'm telling you, if the ref doesn't give that and he goes to VAR, the VAR doesn't say that's a clear and obvious error from the referee.
Do you know what? Probably, but again, there is going to be decisions like that, isn't there? Because we want the game to flow. We tried stop and start at the very start of VAR, and folk were complaining about it every week. So I agree with you there, Grizz. I think it probably doesn't get pulled back. But Evan, fair enough. Maybe it would be.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's one thing I want to say, and it's I'm done debating it. We are owed some fucking penalties. This team is cashing in on their expected penalties, because we are owed some.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. But I don't want them to be fucking wasted in a 6-0 win against Leeds United.
Yeah.
Like, we know there's going to be where Rudiger's pulling the nuts off Mohamed Salah on Sunday, and we're not going to get it.
Grizz,
want it to be balanced out and spread out.
Here's the thing. We could get a penalty in every remaining Premier League game for the rest of the season, and our ratio would still be below Man City's. Like, it's actually insane. And Manchester United's in previous seasons. So don't you worry. We are owed plenty. And if the footballing gods are watching, we will get them.
It's bad though, because you know when there's a game coming, if you know how it says this referee's announced for that, it's like there's been a few recently where that'll be fine, and there's just other games that we're not going to get into tonight. But the Craig Pawson reaction the other day, do you know what I mean?
I wanted your opinions, because this is a very good point. Because who steps up, Keith? Obviously, there's only one man who's stepping up for these penalties, and we've discussed his technique and everything. And Paulie says he noticed something in his run up, and he says, "What do you guys think of Salah dropping his bended run up for penalties?" And I think that is the most brilliant, what do you call this, chat message, whatever you call it, of the night. Because
Comment.
of course, comment.
Paulie's always good though. Paulie's brilliant.
But this is a deeply analytical comment, because, and I agree with him, and I know, not for a fact, but I'm pretty certain Mohamed Salah has looked at his technique, because he fucking missed a penalty. So when Mohamed Salah misses a penalty or misses a chance or does something wrong, we know that he's so elite mentality-wise. He goes back and studies his game from A to Z. I think there's something in this, Keith.
The obsession with for detail for Salah is unmatched, in my opinion. That is why he is where he is today as one of the best players in world football. Absolutely. I actually noticed it didn't feel like a hit. Like both penalties, it didn't feel like how you usually do, where you just whacks it with full power, and if it goes which side, goes through the middle, goes.
They were controlled.
They were very controlled. He was just watching videotapes of Fabinho for Monaco and Liverpool. That's what.
No, he was watching video. He was training with. He's training with one of the best penalty kick takers ever, and James Milner. James Milner is literally one of the best.
Fab and Milner. Probably, I wouldn't even be surprised if you know.
Nah, Fab's not in that. Fab's missed a few, mate.
Do you know why? Because
no, he's only missed one. He's only missed one, Conroy.
No, but for Monaco.
Yeah, only one penalty.
Yeah, I think Milner's took like 30, 40 penalties, guys. Come on. Sample size.
The second penalty in particular, so there was an interesting article I read once about the penalty taking comparison, and they did say, you know, bottom corner with some elevation, you know, ultimately you hit that, keeper's got no chance at all. And I think the way he takes the second penalty was that the keeper was never going to save that in a million years. It was perfectly placed, had elevation, and was slotted home. So yeah, absolutely. It didn't feel like hit and hope. I wonder if this is an evolution of the we're not going to do the hit and hope. My God, we're going to find out on Sunday. Let's put it that way. So
Can I ask you guys? Have you ever seen a penalty that was like in the corner, above sort of chest height, that was saved? Because I feel like when you go high, they're just never saved, are they? I've seen players go low and hard directly in the corner, and sometimes the keeper is just lengthy enough and guesses the right way and he saves it. Risa's penalty in Istanbul is a great penalty. Dida's just huge, and Risa tries to place it. There's not a lot of power on it. But I feel like when you go high, whether you hit it hard or you hit it soft, there's just no chance. What keeper is going to dive high? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you have to be above. The ones off memory, I think Gerrard in the penalty shootout. I think Tom Heaton goes high. That's one of the best penalty kick saves. Tips onto the bar when we beat Cardiff. That's an unbelievable save.
That was unbelievable, though. I mean, that was probably the best.
That was ridiculous. I would agree.
That again,
because you have to gamble to do that though as well. You have to, because if you go low, you can't stretch up. And I think Casillas against Portugal, I think he tips one onto the bar. It's quite high. I remember Casillas doing it before, but Casillas was ridiculous as well. But you're right, Evan. 9 times out of 10, I think Letizia actually says that. Matt Letizia says if you run straight and it's like, say you're right-footed into that corner, if you actually hit it at a certain height, you'd have to be actually picking that spot as a goalkeeper to save it. So very good point.
Yeah. I think it takes a very, very high level of bravery to attempt a penalty like that, to put any kind of height on it, when you know that natural gravity suggests when you kick the ball, is it gravity or physics, people? Would it be physics? So if you kick a ball in the air and you know that the ball is going to continue to rise, if you know what I mean, that's such a brave call. I don't know why I'm bringing physics and science to it. I was shit.
I think another point to make about it is the fact that, you know, it takes a lot. You've got to think, you're the best player in world football, right? You scored loads of penalties. It takes some sort of character to be able to reassess at the height of the peak of your powers and say, do you know what? Maybe I need to make a bit of a change. Maybe I need to make an adjustment. Maybe I need to do things a little bit differently. And that's a message in life that you could take on board. Like a man who's the top goal scorer in world football, looking at the way he takes penalties and adjusting and making a change mid-season, to be able to kind of put your ego to the side and make that decision happen.
Oh, it's eliteness. It's eliteness. Yeah. And he puts it away. I think he puts it away in the same corner, doesn't he? And it's 3-0 at half time. I don't know who I'm coming to. Who am I coming to? Whoever wants to take it. Basically 3-0 at halftime, Conroy. I'm not even worried about the game. I couldn't give a shit about the game. I'm not joking. I was just I was thinking which 3 players need to come off to preserve for Chelsea, because I've said it all week. I want the game to be over by halftime. Mission accomplished. The game is over at halftime. I then want Jurgen Klopp, my teacher, my master, right? I want him to preserve 3 of the players, talk to his sports science people, turn around and say, right, who are in the red zone or closest to that zone that we always speak about? Who can I haul off and preserve their legs and energy for Sunday? Because Chelsea are not going to fucking play like Leeds on Sunday. It's going to be a whole different ballgame. He doesn't do any of that. He doesn't do any of that, Conrad. Was there any sense of you could see what we wanted? Rhythm, goals, confidence?
I think so. Like, don't get me wrong. I sometimes think he does play like, who am I? But Mane and Salah at times, I feel like they did just play AFCON, and Salah did just play. But Salah's on a hat trick, so he's not going to take him off. And then maybe could have taken Mane off, but I feel like I do get it though, Grizz. Like, we've all been, when you go to Anfield, we've all been the stickers, everything, the label and the signage, it's intensity, rhythm. He's so big on that. The full team are. He's probably thinking, right, Trent and Robbo have missed the game. They're fine. Let's just get them fresh and play through it. And then he's, as I say, Salah's on his hat trick. Ideally, I would want that as well, Grizz. But to be honest, as Keith mentioned earlier, they're all in a competition now. If it's either a title race, if it's individual awards, Jota, Mane, Salah in for the Golden Boot, Robbo and Trent in for the assists. So there's so much happening. So ideally that would be great, but let's be honest, we never really, you don't see Klopp do that very often, do you? He's not really one for that. I think the earliest he might take someone off is 60, and there's maybe a few exemptions, but that's usually the way he goes about it.
Yeah, he waits until the 68th minute, Ivan, and he brings on Thiago. Another little small cameo from Thiago. He's played a couple of 30 minutes, and then he's played 68 minutes. And Klopp spoke about sort of trying to manage his minutes because the guy's record speaks for itself everywhere he goes, every time he plays. I don't know what people want to see from him more. Given his age, given his profile, given his experience, the guy is just, we absolutely now understand why FSG pushed the boat at and tore up their Moneyball theory about buying young players and etc. because they said Thiago available for 25 million. I want some of that.
It's difficult to find any flaws in his game at the minute. Obviously, there were some flaws when he was asked to steady a ship last season with that sort of Frankenstein lineup he had to deal with. But since partnering with Fabinho, and this obviously is a streak that extends towards the back end of last season, since partnering with Fabinho, it's the best midfield duo in world football. The numbers speak for itself. The record speaks for itself. It's just been about getting them on the pitch at the same time. And we absolutely have to bubble wrap Thiago, because whether or not we come away with one of the big ones this season is, I think, almost exclusively linked to whether or not we can keep them fit and firing and on the same page, and more importantly, on the same pitch. Because, the other things are going to be constants. Van Dijk is going to continue to be great. Alisson is going to continue to be great. We have players that are going to continue to score. Our fullbacks are going to continue to assist, but are Fabinho and Thiago going to continue to be on the pitch together? It's the one big anxiety I think we now are left with in our team selection, with this deep, potentially over bloated squad, if you will. I remember Fahim in the chat, who's in here tonight. He asked last time. Remember, he had a friend in the WhatsApp that said Thiago was overrated, or he didn't think Thiago was good, and he asked me to explain to him what he could tell his friend in response. Well, Fahim's friend, if you're watching, I hope you found a way to watch the game tonight, or maybe you're watching the game right now on delay, and I hope you pay attention, because Thiago Alcantara is an incredible football player. The game is played at whatever pace he wants it to be played at. He has that Van Dijk-like presence. You know what I mean? What's impressed me in the last few games. I could go on all day, so I'll try to keep it quick. This guy's been
take your time. We're talking about Thiago. Take your time.
Yeah,
We're talking
this
about
is
Thiago here.
Thiago Alcantara here. He's been so gritty and industrious since coming back from injury. I forget who it was. 2 or 3 games ago, he led the game in aerial duels 1, and I was just like, oh, if Thiago leads the game in aerial duels 1, then you deserve to get relegated. Whoever you are, letting him win aerial duels like that. And today, when he was brought off, he had twice as many completed tackles as any other Liverpool player. And I thought he pressed a lot more intelligently than, again, not picking on this guy, pressed a lot more intelligently than Jordan Henderson, who came on afterwards, maybe getting up to the speed with the game, obviously, but I thought Thiago is better in that role than Henderson is. Presses with intellectual pressing, I think the term has been coined on this show. He's a bit better at it than Jordan Henderson, and there's no shame in that. But Thiago Alcantara is an exquisite football player, and if he stays fit, and Fabinho stays fit, and they play a lot of games together in between now and June, screen record it, we will come away with one of the big ones.
It will be one of the travesties of modern day football if that doesn't happen, because as Hassan said earlier in the chat, again, Hassan, a very valued member who always talks sense. There he goes. He says, "Evening, lads. Thought the 1920 team was amazing, Keith, but this current squad, wow, top performance from the Reds. We march on." It shows when you bring on Henderson in the 70th minute and your captain's got the drive and passion, and he's coming on at 3-0 and he's saying, "Come on, keep going, lads." And he's involved in the 4th goal, isn't he? Is it the 4th goal, lads?
Yeah.
Yes, he first of all, he intercepts the goal kick, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. So the hunger to intercept, to counter press is there to see. The ball falls to Salah, or he gives the ball to Salah, and Salah produces one of the pre-assists of the season with a reverse ball, guys. Magical, absolute magical from Mo. And then Henderson reminds me of his younger days, Keith, where he was playing as a right winger for Sunderland, as Evan would say. He was playing for Sunderland. He gets the ball, and mere mortals would have 3-0 up, keep driving into the box and a chance to score himself, whatever. But the captain, the leader, the person that he is, he sees Sadio and he finds him with an exquisite first-time ball. For me, that was my favorite goal of the night. Just me.
Henderson practiced what he preached. He was on record as saying that it doesn't matter who plays. It's that everybody in this squad knows that they will be contributing to this team at any given point. And that right there, that cameo appearance from Jordan Henderson pretty much sums up everything that he just said, because, he wasn't willing to allow this game to just, because let's not get it twisted. We started to let the game get a bit weird. Rafinha had a shot. I think that was at their first shot on target. They were on 0-0 for ages. Leeds started breaking a few times. They started having little like minor moments. And I feel like when the substitutions were made and he came on along with Divock Origi, they came on as players that wanted to make a point because they know how hard competition is. So maybe the competition in this particular match was over, but the competition for places is far from over. And these guys need to prove that they want to start these football matches and they want to start on Sunday. So it was really nice. And it's really nice, actually, since that Henderson now has got a couple games under his belt where he's contributed with assists, where he's contributed with performances again, and almost a bit of a hunger and a bit of a sharpness back. It's really nice to see, because, he does take a large point of the flack. He is, every team has them at the end of the day. You see it throughout fan bases. Everybody does have their guy that probably takes more of the flack than most when they have a bad game, whereas others who have quiet games probably don't take as much. And Henderson has been on the receiving end of that, despite the fact that this is the 9th game in a row that Liverpool have won. So it's always good to see that, far from him losing a step or him not contributing, that he actually is still a valued member of the team, can still put a wicked cutback pass. And I agree, because that was probably one of the few goals of the game where actually it was all about the build-up. It was actually a pattern of play created to score a goal, and it was a brilliant finish by Sadio Mane. So I'm very happy that he's contributing. Very happy that he's not. Again, it's very easy to allow negative comments. You can't get away from it. Like, we're all plugged into the metaverse these days, right? You can't get away from people's opinions on you, no matter how much you try to block comments or block responses on Instagram or whatever. You see it, you take it on board. He takes everything on his shoulders, and he comes out and he still proves that he belongs in the squad. So great assist. Very, very happy for the impact that he made, particularly the way the game was going at that time.
Absolutely great assist. And talking of assists and goals, Conray, we spoke about it just before we went live, where it's fucking insane right now that we have now got the top 3 goal scorers in the Premier League.
We're forgetting about Jota as well. That's the thing, Grizz. You forget about Jota.
Absolutely. So now we have the top 3 goal scorers in the league, Conroy, and we also have the top 3 assisters in the league. I don't know if you knew that.
I may have done my research, but I keep getting told there's a certain left back at Manchester City who can't track a runner, who's left back of the season. But what do I know? Guy's got 11 assists in the season, but he's having a poor season. Well,
Neverman's here to tell us that the top 3 goal scorers are obviously Salah, Jota, Mane, and then the 3 assisters are Arnold, Robertson, and Salah. I don't know what to say. This is levels, man. Do you know what to say?
All I could say is the front 3 just outstanding. I think I talk about Jota all the time. I'm not going to go too hard on that, but just like with the effectiveness of Mane, you've got Jota, who's just been like a duck to water for Liverpool, and then Salah's just constant trajectory right now of improvement. And then to add Diaz to that as well, guys. I mean, come on, Diaz is probably still at 85%. Like, I think he's even going to get better. Just ridiculous. I think we actually, in fairness, Man City and Liverpool normalise this quality now. Like, they really do. There's been a lot of discussions this week, a lot of streams about who's the best team ever and points totals, and I got a lot of respect for that. But I don't think there's ever been in the Premier League where if you lose one game, you can lose the title. And that is literally what this is like. Like, because bear in mind, when we won the league, our feeling going into that season is we can't lose a game. We literally can't lose a game. I just think the levels is just out of this world, and I think you can see it. And especially having 3 players who are forwards, they're not necessarily strikers either. I know we could argue with Jota, but really they're not strikers. They're forwards, wide forwards, or play central forward at some point, but they're not strikers. It's unreal. It's crazy what they're doing, to be honest, and long may it continue. And with regard to the assists as well, I think Salah is brilliant because he adds people try to label him as not a team player at times, which is an absolute myth. And as I say, his decision making's always getting better as well. You can even see that if you're a Liverpool fan, you watch it, you can see it gets better in certain moments, like that pass for Matip tonight, the prime example. And then Trent and Robbo, they've normalised it. What a fullback can do. They've changed it, in my opinion. I hear a lot of people say, like, that's not how the other defenders, that's not how it works now. A fullback has to be just as good at attack as they are defensively if you want to be a top fullback. So I just think they're just unreal. I think Trent will break his own record. You might even see Robertson break Trent's record as well for the amount of assists in a Premier League season. It's ridiculous. And the crazy thing is as well, it's like, we don't even, like, I told someone a couple of weeks ago, oh, that's Robertson got 8 assists in 9 games. And it was like, oh, I didn't even know that. And it's like, I get it. And it's not like you should be checking that. But what I mean is, see if this was like I don't know, like, say just in a normal time period, if there wasn't so much quality in the squad, that would be highlighted as this amazing achievement. But it's just normal. Like, sometimes we don't even have enough agenda points to discuss the quality in our team. So I don't mean to keep going on, but sometimes I think normalise is the best way to explain it. I think we just normalize it.
No, I think the better word is desensitized. We're a bit
Okay,
desensitized to it, and I think once we reach a period in the Premier League where there's not as many, where there isn't really a prolific winger like Mohamed Salah, people will realize just how insane his numbers were, and he will start to get the respect from rivals. Obviously, you're never going to get it now because they move the goalposts every other minute. But I think I can already see it, guys, like 10, 15 years from now. Obviously, history will look back and point to the 18-19 season and the 19-20 season, 97 points and then even more points plus a Premier League title. The hipsters will be like, well, actually, the best Liverpool team was 21-22 because look at all these stat categories they led in. And even if maybe they did or did not win the Premier League or the Champions League, this was actually the best team. And I'm like, I can see the football hipsters on it already. But
you say that, talking of, if you want to talk about stats and hipsters, hipsters will look at the fact that Jordan Henderson has the same amount of assists as Reece James and João Cancelo in the Premier League this season. So when you talk about desensitization, we're not even talking about the fact that Jordan Henderson, who has been, lashed, taken several lashings, is on the same amount of assists as Son Heung-min and only 3 behind Paul Pogba.
That's Keith. That's such a great point, and I have to butt in and add. And we'll see that he has, without a doubt, his most impressive catalog of goals this season as a Liverpool player as well. So everyone will look back and be like, wow, Jordan Henderson was so good in 2021. I was like, well, actually, there was nobody who was talked about more on Twitter, and for all the wrong reasons. Let me tell you something.
When you watch the YouTube review or the season review, the DVD you can get and stuff like that, if anyone buys DVDs anymore, it'll be like, oh, Jordan Henderson had a great season.
Yeah,
unbelievable. It's true. I wanted to bring up Hassan again because he says you guys would have probably touched on Diaz. I generally think his acquisition will win us a few trophies. Unpredictable will be a problem for rival teams. He was a menace today. The reason why I want to bring it up, Keith, is because basically that's the last substitution where Origi comes on for a little cameo and Luis Diaz gets taken off. And I think, again, in terms of psychological man management, I think Klopp does these ones where he brings him off and lets the crowd give him the round of applause and the greeting and the send off that he needs and he deserves to make him feel more and more part of this family. Again, he put up a display that, it's like he's been here all the time, and his understanding with Robertson and now Thiago as well. I saw more of it now because Thiago is going to play in that triangle, where you call the Bermuda triangles on both sides, right? He's going to play on that side. Luis Diaz, man. Again, 85 minutes of just pure endeavor, hard work, tenacity, technical strength, everything bar a fucking goal.
He was doing kick-ups at one stage, like surrounded by like 3 men. I was just like, what is this madness? I think you know what the one thing that he'll add to his game that I think is going to be a real problem next season is just that slight adaptation to the pace of Premier League football. I think at times, I think so. I think it's one of them situations. Probably on the ball again. It's nitpicking. It's nitpicking because I believe as in terms of like dribbler and skill wise, I think probably him and Firmino, probably him because he's sharper and a bit quicker and younger. He's probably our most skillful, most unpredictable player. He takes shots from outside the box. He'll try certain things. He's very, very brave. I think at times he can let the ball go a bit quicker. I think Premier League football does move at a far quicker pace and he can be caught on the ball. And I think that'd be my only thing where, and that's the funniest thing, it's a situation that he will just adapt to because it happens with a lot of players that come to the Premier League for the first time. They don't, they'll for them, when they're the dominant team in Ligue Nos or in Serie A, when they are the dominant team, they have the majority of the possession and it's a lot more of a tactical battle. When you're the dominant team in the UK, it doesn't really matter because a lot of the times teams like your Burnleys, like your Leeds will try and put that pressure on you to try and get that ball and win that ball back from you as quickly as possible. It's just a high intensity league. So when he gets that side of the game, when he starts to figure out when to release the ball, how quickly to release the ball, when to take those risks. I think again, we've got another player on our hands who's just going to do absolute wonders, and he's going to do things that is going to be out of the blue. And sometimes in football matches, you need these situations, especially when you're chasing for a title, especially when you turn draws, which is our biggest Achilles heel, is draws. He feels like the kind of guy who can turn a draw into a win by doing something that no one else in our team could possibly do. So I think it's an indication that he starts on Sunday, personally. The fact that he came off to the standing ovation. And I'm really intrigued to see how he looks in the cup final, because I think these type of environments, these type of situations, it could be the moment for him to arrive in Wembley on Sunday.
I don't want to really go into the sort of our selections for this final. We've got a couple of days for that, but I think I agree with you. I wouldn't have thought so at the start of the week, but with the situation of our strikers and everything, I think he's made such a strong case, man. I was nailed on in my head that it's going to be Mane, Jota, and Salah, but obviously the situation with Jota, I still think Jota is going to be available. I just don't know how you leave out Luis Diaz right now. I mean, it's a talking point, and we'll get into it. But I also agree with you in terms of the pace, and I think we'll get an indication of that when he plays away from home. I think Jurgen Klopp's been very clever in terms of making him play against opposition at home, where he's going to get loads and loads of the ball, as opposed to so just get his confidence and boost and sort of fluidity and getting to know his teammates' touches. But I think it was a brilliant tactical decision not to play him away at Burnley, and I think Klopp alluded to it as well. Conroy, is there anything else you wanted to add on Diaz before we go on to sort of the last two goals?
No, I think Keith summed it up. Just great acquisition, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to save that because
Is that Conroy gone or is that me gone?
I think that's
no.
Are you back?
I'm back. You hear me?
Yeah, gone.
You hear me?
Yeah, go
I
for
think
it.
the pre-match is going to be spectacular. The build-up. So say
It's not going to be as spectacular as your Wi-Fi, brother.
Yo, great. I'm a respectfully disagree with something he said earlier, but it's the best type of disagreement. He said he only thinks Diaz is operating at about 80-85%. I think we're only seeing about half of what he can offer, because if you put today's absolute demonistic performance and you add a couple of goals, then we're looking at the next big thing, aren't we? I thought today, for the first time, he wasn't holding back. In his first couple cameos for Liverpool, as familiar as he looked with the system, I thought he was holding back, which is totally natural. New system, new language, new country. He's trying to play within himself a little bit. But today, for the first time, I thought Luis Diaz went on the field and thought, I'm the shit. I'm the most dangerous player on this pitch. That's Mohamed Salah. Yeah, he's on my team, but I'm the biggest threat here. And he proved it many times. The only thing that was missing was a goal. Other than that, it was a flawless performance. Everything you would want from a winger in this system.
Yeah, Scott, you're right. I was too hasty in my assessment, but it wasn't an assessment that sort of I've made and that's it. It was an assessment based on the performances so far. I didn't think the fluidity in attack is there, and I know that sounds insane after our last few results, but I just think Jota was just getting to know that system. Absolutely was, but it took him a little while, even though his personal stats are fucking unbelievable. But just that sort of the telepathic understanding that the famous three have, and of course it's naturally not going to be there in just a couple of games. We've got a super chat that says we need to talk about. Thank you, appreciate the super chat. We need to talk about Mohamed's passing ability, brother. You've missed it, man. Where have you been, bro? You need to get on that replay, and we wax lyrical about that pass. I call it the pre-assist of the season. Absolute the pre-assist of the season. And it's an aspect that's so underrated, guys. It's not talked on. We just what's the word, Evan? Desensitized.
We're desensitized to the quality of this guy. We are desensitized.
Outside of the foot, cutting inside of the foot, everything. You're,
And
you're on,
it's not new, Grizz. I remember a certain outside the foot Trivela pass to confirm a win at the Allianz Arena on our way to Champions League
It's
glory.
definitely more consistent though. You can't tell me like that his
Oh,
decision
yeah.
making right now is at all time high. Like he could pull stuff off like that now and again, but his decision making is the best it's ever been in my opinion.
Conrad, I just want to say this is the first time this season is the first time I've ever claimed that he was the best player on the planet, and it's because of the
I agree,
decision
yeah.
making. That's what's
Absolutely.
taken him to a new level. Because there's going to be a season in his career where he scored more than this season. You know what I mean? But there will never be a season where he was this sharp and this unplayable. And that way,
100%, Evan.
it's like
100%.
you want to show me inside. You want to show me to the 40-yard line where I can't do anything. I'm going to pick out a pass, or I'm going to take on the other defender. You know what I mean? He's taken it to a new level, and maybe it's something that only we could see as people who surgically dissect every little detail about a Liverpool game. Maybe it's not something that the neutral fan could see because they're not putting the same time in. But this is a different Mohamed Salah than what we've become accustomed to.
I don't think, look, even and I know we're not neutral, none of us are neutral, but I like to think we're not OTT in terms of our bias about football players in general. Great players. I know Conroy isn't. Conroy, speaks very highly of loads of players in world football, and so does Evan. I mean, Keith, all right, is a top red and doesn't see anything else, but that's fine. That's
He's
fair enough.
on top of the world right now,
Yeah,
Chris.
we need
Top Red's on top of the world.
we need one top red. But what Sam says here, and Keith, it's not false. Like Salah is doing Messi things, what Messi used to do, especially with his dribbling and passing. It's actually outrageous. Why isn't the fucking rest of the world seeing it for what it is and just give him the Ballon d'Or already?
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes down to it's first of all, it's almost like you've come from this era where it was just easy to almost be like Messi, Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldo, And I think sometimes when it comes to like the votes, because remember, it is players that vote, it is pundits that vote. I think sometimes they just automatically. I don't think. I think we've got to a stage now where I don't think they're necessarily making a vote based on what's the best for that season. I think that almost a lot of the time we're talking about based on names and who they think is the kind of best player. Would I say that Messi and Ronaldo have been on Lewandowski or Mohamed Salah's level over the past few seasons? I don't think so.
Yes, Messi has. He literally won a Copa America and then won a Copa del Rey and got the top goal scorer, top assist, everything. You're sleeping on that in the calendar year.
I think if we're talking about longevity throughout the season, yes, he did do very well at the Copa America. I'll give him that 110%. But I think
47 assists, 47 goals and 14 assists. It's an amazing year.
Yeah, but for what? For club, for what?
For everything, for Argentina
like
and
for example, put up equally as good as numbers and did it to go on and to win Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And to win the Bundesliga.
I agree with that.
And Mo Salah to do the same in.
Salah didn't have a good year trophy-wise last year because he won nothing. So that's always going to be legitimate. What they pick the holes in because that's how they narrow it down. I just think like Salah's amazing, but I think Messi's like out of this world, and I'm just always going to say that. So I think even Salah's great right now. His passing still not like Messi levels are just different. Can
I just say that if Salah never wins the Ballon d'Or in his career, it'll be our fault as a team. It definitely won't be his fault because this dude just scores week in, week out, puts up numbers that only names like Messi have touched.
Well, that's my point. But guys, and I agree with Conroy when he says Messi is different levels because Messi is an alien. Like footballing wise, he's an alien that, it's just, we know we're not going to sit here and compare Salah to Messi as a footballer overall in the grand scheme of things in terms of history of football.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
There's levels.
Yeah.
I think, Conroy, what I was trying to say, and I'm not going to speak for Keith and Evan, but what I was trying to suggest was that in the last 2-3 seasons, as a footballer based on stats, assists, competitiveness of leagues, relative to also international levels, in terms of Egypt are nothing in terms of world stages, where Argentina, one of the favorites for Copa America. I think it's very comparable, the two players' achievements. Maybe you're saying in terms of, because you've seen Messi do it year on for last 10, 12 years, and there's no denying that, and that's a different level. But just based on the last 2 seasons, to not have Salah in the conversation like he hasn't been, because you got to remember he was 4th or something, or someone remind me, was he 4th in the voting or 6th or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, that was the year Van Dijk was 2nd, was it?
No, Ballon d'Or this season. He was someone in the
Yeah.
chat very quickly tell us, was he? I think he was like
I think
7th.
he was, yeah.
Something
He
like
wasn't even in the team of the year.
7th. He was 7th. That's my point of the disrespect, Conroy. Putting Messi above him, there's absolutely no disrespect there to Mohamed Salah.
You know, no, I agree with that, Grizz. I just
Yeah.
think the way what Messi and Ronaldo have done, right, is they used to decide and they used to have to narrow it down to trophies because there's like they'd score so many goals, so many assists. And I think what's happened now is, see, when someone has a great season, they just, the trophy thing sticks in their head. And I think that's what went against Salah last year. I agree, by the way. I think Salah gets absolutely underappreciated by the world globally, especially for these 100%. And I think that will change in this year for the Ballon d'Or. Absolutely. Because I think his overall play, as Evan said, I think is just, he is up to level. I think he's unbelievable right now. And that's not me disrespecting Salah when I talk about Messi. I was just meaning, like, for me, like Messi
exactly.
is just
No,
an
you're right.
alien, you know, when I watch him.
No, absolutely. And sorry, go Evan.
I was gonna say I think we're all on the same page here. We're just making sure we're not gonna say anything that's gonna be misconstrued by our lovely viewers. But I really do agree with what Grizz is saying, because I think, Grizz, what you're saying is that if football began 2 or 3 years ago, then Salah and Messi are equals. Is that because that's what I'm hearing, and I agree with that if that's what you're saying. Because
It absolutely is, because the longevity of Messi,
it's untouchable,
it's unrivaled, and it will never be beaten.
I will not live to see a better player than Lionel Messi. I'm sure of it.
Because
no one will.
Yeah.
But you get what you get. I think we all agree that Mo Salah's done it for 3 or 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
And we're sat here in awe of Mohamed Salah. We absolutely are.
Yeah.
But that fucker over there has done it for like 10, 12 seasons or something.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
But an isolated timeline of 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely. But if you forget that, if you forget about Messi, just for the sake of a chat and a debate, say, look, based on the last 2-3 seasons, he's fucking up there, comparable.
They are in the same bracket. They are in the same bracket, and we've been building up to this moment, because in 17-18 it was kind of just like, oh wow, look at these freakish stats. He's up there in this bracket, and then he kept doing it year in, year out, and then he started winning things, and then he did it through adversity and through his team falling apart around him. Now he's doing it in a different system with a few new characters on board. So we've been working our way up until this moment, and you can definitely say, and you know, this is the best all-around attacking force on the planet. He's playmaking, goal scoring, the impact he has for club and country. I mean, what's missing from his at a club level? What's missing from his cabinet? Some domestic cups. In my opinion, this guy's won everything there is to win for Liverpool. He's a world champion. He's a European champion. He's an English champion. So I'm so glad that we've arrived at this moment. And I'm not happy to see the decline of Messi, because it's been such a joy. But Mo Salah is now the leader in this bracket of elite players in this timeline.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it Messi's done quite yet, mate. He's literally been 2 months, and I wouldn't say he's done yet.
Oh, his chapter is far from over. I'm just saying, you know, Barcelona falling apart, PSG not being in their stride yet.
Oh no, Messi's,
you know what I mean?
Salah's the best player in the world right now, hands down, absolutely. I just think you might see. I think the narrative for Messi to be finished is more than the actual. If you're watching him, that he's finished. That's all I'd say in that.
I think it's how we see Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Like from
Very
that
similar.
viewpoint, in terms of,
Messi's pulling. I just think people don't watch him as much.
No, I watch him. He's not. But he's fucking hitting 40, Conroy. Like he's going to be expected.
Yeah, but
And you got to
we'll
remember,
see.
he's playing in he's playing in the French league, Conroy. Come on.
Clip this up and we'll see. Because I still think
Ndombele
he's
has gone
not
back to
finished it.
Ndombele has gone back to France and looked like Zidane.
No, but
That
what
says it
I'm
all.
saying is, I don't think Messi's finished yet. That's all I'm saying. I think everyone
Oh
wants.
no,
him to be
no
finished.
one said he. No one
is
said he
saying
was.
he's finished.
No,
no
you
one's
guys.
saying-
I'm saying that's the narrative now.
yeah.
He's washed, and I'm just
yeah.
saying, I don't think that's the case quite yet. I think it's just no in great form, but I don't think it's there yet. That's all.
Guys, two super chats to get through. We carry on. None of your business. My favorite name on our chat. Salah to break the Henry record, goals and assists in 38 game Premier League season. I think it's just.
Can someone in the chat tell me what that is?
Yeah, I think
the GA record.
I think he's close already, and he's got about 12
goals,
games
goals
to
and
go.
assists in 38 games. So
Yeah, what's
I think
the GA record?
Only got 20 in 20. Is that right, guys? I think he got 20 goals and 20 assists.
I won't know.
It's because De Bruyne went to break it, I think, a couple of years ago.
People in the chat will know, and will be hit with it.
20 and 20, I think that's what it is, because De Bruyne missed by one, I think. Yeah.
There you go. 24 goals and 20 assists.
Yeah, 44. Okay, Salah currently has 28. No, he has more than that.
Hit us, people. Hit us.
He has 29. Salah has 29 goal contributions, and we have 13 games left.
Yeah,
12
it's
games
gonna
left.
be 12
games left.
He should have scored about. He should have scored about 7. He should have got about 7 goals and assists today combined today. Easily he should have. He's going to be pissed off. And you know what? He had face like thunder. I'm telling you.
There was a situation actually. It's funny. I think Trent had it where he basically should have just cut it back to him. He was in the box, and he just was furious. After
how about the two misses? How about the two misses?
Yeah,
he was clean through. He tried to do a dink, very much like the one that cost us at Brentford. People.
Yes,
Conroy, you hated that one. Do you remember when away at Brentford?
That's right.
Yeah, and he was clean through to make it 4-2, I think, or something.
Yeah,
and he tries to dink, very similar today.
Never finished, but to be fair, he's not done that since, so he's learned from it.
Yeah,
but now chat are saying Alan Shearer has it. 34 goals.
Alan Shearer has the most amount of goals in a single season.
It's the double, so it's over 20 goals, over 20 assists.
Yeah, Henry did like goals and assists, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say for the Henry record, given on his current ratio, currently Mo Salah has 3 more goal contributions than games played. We've played 26 games. He has 29 goal contributions. He needs 15 more contributions to match Henry. We have 12 games left. So he's currently on pace, guys, is what I'm saying.
I'm
knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood.
It has to be the assist as well, though, mate. So it has to be like goals and assists, not together. So it's got to be like over 20 for each.
Well, he's still got to play Leeds again, I think.
No, he's not.
No,
I still think he could do it, though. He could do it.
It's touching.
Oh yeah, I think Henry has the 38 game record. Shearer has the 40ish game record.
Shearer's ridiculous. Played for Newcastle and he still has the highest goal scorer. It's unbelievable.
Shout out to the
always the most intelligent chat we have. Bashar, who's our Inter Milan resident fan. Shout out to Bashar. Good evening, guys. He means obviously great win. Salah 10 out of 10. I wouldn't say he was 10 out of 10 today. That's the levels this guy's bringing to the table right now. Unfortunately, just because the Egyptian people are reluctant to say he's the best, rooting for us on Sunday. Of course you are, my brother. Thank you very much. There was another super chat. I think it was while you was talking, Conroy, so I think I might have missed it. I've got it. Shriram Panika. Hope I said that right, brother. It's good morning, Grizz from India. Good morning to you, my friend. Wow. Good morning indeed. You're talking 4-5 a.m. in India. Big up yourself. I'm a gooner, but love your shows and the Big Six. Spuds lose again and backing you guys for an amazing title challenge. Thank you very much, man.
I love your picture, Shiram. Very handsome, very dignified.
That's the one, bro. That's the one. That looked like that was me at college. I used to look like that, believe it or not. But people, Origi comes on. It would have been amazing if he scored as well, because that would have just topped off the night. But he somehow clatters into the keeper. The ball falls to Mane. Mane gets the 5th goal. Mane suddenly, we spoke about the numbers and stats, effectiveness.
Imagine if he wins the Golden Boot, guys. That would be hilarious.
Unbelievable. But it is what it is. He gets that, and then Virgil van Dijk tops it off because we said it yesterday in the pre-match. If anybody hasn't seen the pre-match, our analysis is fucking spot on. I said we will get a Virgil van Dijk goal from a set piece because they are so bad. And when I saw Llorente missing as well and Liam Cooper already, I knew Luke Ayling at set pieces is going to be an accident waiting to happen. Virgil gets a assist. Virgil gets a goal. I managed to break my Premier League fantasy record. I think I'm on about 160 points already with a few players to go yet, brothers. So I haven't double checked it, but it happens. When you get a bit of intel about Trent not going to be playing in the first game, so you draft and then Jota out, so you draft in Mane and Virgil van Dijk. Kind of cheating the system, but it is what it is. Listen, Virgil van Dijk makes it 6. Keith, 6-0. Everything's hunky-dory. We have now, hopefully, guys, let us know because we came straight on. There was no injuries. There was no press conference talk about any injuries or anything. We have got some serious selection dilemmas, or do we?
Well, this is going to be interesting because on Sunday, I think Jordan Henderson is probably going to be the only change for Curtis Jones. Other than that, in terms of that selection, I think that is the back four. I think Klopp's going to stick to his word about Kelleher, and
yes,
I reckon he'll stick to that. Other than that, other than maybe Henderson, well, I think actually definitely Henderson because I just don't. I think with Harvey, I think there's a little bit of protection there at the moment, which is rightly deserved.
Understandable.
Intensity is.
Conroy actually said it, didn't you, Conroy? Conroy said that I want Elliot not to be kind of rushed back and seen as a savior.
Absolutely.
Give him a glimpse of the team and then just take him out again. I think that's how we're dealing with it.
Yep.
But one thing I just wanted to mention on Van Dijk, right, with the goal, the fact that he's back, the pace is back, that Liverpool won an offside when Leeds cut it back for that goal that was chalked off for offside because of the line kept between Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold to play off Rafinha offside. I mean, the level of it's getting to the stage now where I feel like we're back to when teams didn't feel they could score a goal against Van Dijk. They just don't feel that they have the confidence to actually put the ball in the back of the net. And that aura is back, in my opinion. I felt it tonight again. There was one when the Leeds player was actually ahead of Van Dijk and he just glides over, sticks his foot, ball out for a throw in. This physically, like we've been speaking about it for a while. Is he back? Is he this, that, and the other? And I think going into Sunday, the fact that he is at tip-top shape is like more big than we could possibly even imagine, and probably a big indication of why we've gone through this 9. Remember, 9 games won in a row, only 3 goals conceded. Unless it's a deflected goal these days, I don't really feel like teams are scoring goals against us at all. So, he's scoring goals as well. Again, I think this is his second goal of the season now from a corner, nonchalant header. I'm happy he got his goal. I think again
our 2 centre backs, man. Our 2 centre backs.
Hasn't happened since was it Lovren and Sacco did it against Dortmund?
Stop it! Don't go there, man.
Just
them names. Don't go there.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I think selection dilemma wise, I think we'll see probably 2 changes from that. But other than that, I'm really excited for Sunday. Can't wait. Especially Chris, as you know how it is because we're in London and we've got a lot of Chelsea fan friends, right?
I'm look, just to let everyone know that's tuned in. I'm not going to do one preview. I think it's going to be an every night preview. I'm serious.
I'm already getting nervous, guys.
I thought you were saying there's going to be no preview because we're taking it super serious. I thought you were going to go there.
No.
We need to just staring at a photo of Mourinho for 4 days, just staring at Mourinho.
No, it's interesting, Grizz. Can I just comment on your dislike for Chelsea because it's interesting to me because you and my dad being part of a different generation than me, you guys, the initial takeover of Chelsea and the sheer amount of money that was spent is obviously more fresh in your conscious memory than it is of mine. I was 8, 9 years old when Abramovich took over. Didn't really have as good an understanding of the game, obviously. And for my dad feels the same way. So when I tell my dad, oh, it's Man City that makes me want to pull my hair out. It's Man City that, Pep Guardiola living rent free in my head. That's the big villain of my lifetime. But I have to remember that for you guys who, lived through those semifinals in adult age, you know what I mean? Like for you guys, there's no comparison. It's Chelsea
The
that you
deepest
hate.
part of it, the deepest part is because we're in London, we live in London.
Yeah.
We're Chelsea fans. Like I grew up in West London, right? So and now I live in Southeast London. So I'm never too far away from a Chelsea fan. Like some of my best mates are Chelsea fans, and so I've had to put up with shit from them for years. I've got a funny little story. I was actually at the Liverpool-Chelsea game when we got knocked out of the Champions League at Stamford Bridge when Ryan Babel scored that screamer. I was in the Chelsea.
Aurelio scored the free kick.
Yeah. I was in the Chelsea end, right? I don't know what. I was 18 years old at the time. I don't know what came over me. I got up as Torres scored, and I got the biggest abuse. Like, I'm happy to tell the story today because it was this close. Yeah,
that's fucking dangerous, Keith.
Bro, trust me. I fear. It was the only time I've ever feared for my life because they turned around. They took one look at me and the abuse I got.
That is a mad move, Keith. Don't fucking do that again. That is a mad move, brother. You're a value member of fucking REDFELLAS right here, man. Selfish point of view and that.
Get him no tickets for any games going forward. He's not allowed tickets.
That's a mad move. To do that, man, at Chelsea, you're a braver man than me, man. Shout out to AD who says quality show as usual. You lot keep up the good work. Thank you very much. We will keep up the quality of the work. We will keep up the good work. We will keep up the work rate as long as you keep liking the stream and backing us and supporting us. That's what you all ask for. Keep liking the stream. Keep liking the stream, people. Evan, just to sort of touch upon the Chelsea situation, man. It's just like Keith. The rivalry, the direct rivalry with Man United was just before my time. Like, I was like you. I was just a kid and sort of knew about the rivalry. But in my uni days, in my college days, Roman Abramovich stepped in, and then there was hundreds of born-again Chelsea fans everywhere around me. No, they were, Keith, coming round and trying to convert the rest of us and saying, guys, Chelsea is the club that we need to support. And because, it was a fashionable thing to do, and Glory Hunters FC was rife. So you got to remember, I lived through that. Now I've got the opposite experience of Keith. I was at, and still to this very day, the best footballing experience of my lifetime. I was at the semi-final where Rafa sat like the Buddha pose where the penalty shootout was taking place.
Yes.
Not the ghost goal semi-final,
Yep,
but the second semi-final where Dirk Kuyt scores the winning penalty.
Big Duck stepping up as usual.
Absolutely, and that was the best experience of my lifetime. Absolutely the best experience. That stadium, I've never been in a stadium atmosphere, and I've been absolutely privileged and humbled to go to so many Liverpool games, but that experience lives me for the rest of my life. But also they've given me nightmares, like the time where Ivanovic fucking scored 2 goals from set pieces in a semi-final and hurt us. And and again, just like the Fabio Aurelio free kick, we actually played brilliantly that game, and then Michael Ballack come and scores a thunderbolt.
And
in the middle of the goal.
Did Alex score a free kick as well?
Alex, sorry, not Michael Ballack.
What a
Alex.
Goal. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, but it was center of the goal. That was Pepe Reina on his decline, Conroy. It was the center of the goal.
No, I remember.
And so this team has caused me nightmares, but it's giving me some
the FA Cup
memories.
final as well, Grizz. See when Czech saves that Andy Carroll header, that still pisses me off till this day.
Man,
I don't think people account. Obviously, when you're talking about the big transfers in history, you have to adjust for inflation. Otherwise, there's no point in talking about it. That initial spree of spending, the initial 3 to 4 years of spending after Abramovich takes over, is still unprecedented and untouched by any club in any league. Andrei Shevchenko is still the most expensive Premier League transfer of all time when you adjust for inflation. It's actually nuts. Sean Wright Phillips, adjusted for inflation, going for about 80 million pounds. People forget, is what I'm trying to say. And
you could also argue, though, Ev, that that's the quickest teams win a Premier League with spending money as well.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They hired the right people and they did it the right way. Neverman asked me in the chat just a second ago. He asked me, City fans in the USA, Evan, ? Never seen one, Neverman.
Who's that famous guy? Who's that famous guy with the famous clip who says his son? Is it an actor?
Neil Patrick Harris, Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, he's in there at the Man United game.
Oh,
okay, yeah. Neil Patrick Harris is the only Man City fan I know.
There you go.
I've never seen a Man City jersey here. I've never seen a Man City fan here. I have witnessed the rise of Chelsea in the United States, though. They have definitely grown as a club in my lifetime.
I think the worst experience, and in the emotion of it, I forgot the worst ever experience, and this is why I will never, ever not hate Chelsea, was obviously the 2013-14 game at Anfield, guys.
Oh man,
guys, I couldn't get tickets for Anfield in the home end. Yeah,
no.
It happened. It happened to me.
God, I feel sick.
So I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to be there in the ground for the celebration afterwards because I was convinced that we're going to win the league. Oh yes.
Double-edged sword, isn't it?
Oh,
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. This is not even the worst part of the story. I was so convinced that we've won the league. Like, I don't even want to go through the maths. What was the stage? They had a semi-final, I believe, in the Champions League to deal with a few days later.
Atletico Madrid, I think.
He rested all of his players. He had, God knows who fucking played.
Kalas, he plays for Middlesbrough now.
Mohamed Salah was playing.
Yeah. Kalas.
So Kalas was playing. I am mentally fucked when it comes to Chelsea because not only did I do a Keith, and this is why I've got huge respect for Keith. Hear this bit out. There was no tickets available for me. And for Liverpool, I tried. I was willing to pay up to a lot of money. I ended up still paying £500.
Oh, God.
Me and my friend paid £500 each to sit in the Chelsea end, just for the fact that I'm going to be there afterwards and run onto the pitch. And because if we beat Chelsea, we've won the league. Right? And I wanted to be there. It's been fucking 29 years or 30 years or whatever it was, right? That was it. And we lost and it was disastrous. I don't give a shit about the money. Okay, I do now. But at the time,
want your money back.
At the time I didn't give a shit about the money. I just wanted to see Liverpool lift the title against my fucking fiercest rivals. I wanted to turn around and rub it in their faces and say, "You wankers, you fucking wankers."
Again, no, that's on Keith levels of danger.
But I'm in Liverpool, Conway.
No, wait till you're on the pitch. Wait till you're on the pitch before you do it.
No. I was younger, man. I was fit. I was stronger. I was a bad man. I was gonna put on my shades, take off my top, reveal my Liverpool, and say, "You fucking,
Like Robert Carlyle in the 51st State. Have you seen that movie? You ever seen that with Samuel Jackson, Robert Carlyle?
I'm telling you, I was gonna say "F you, man," and run to the pitch, and God knows, I was ready to streak. I was ready to do what I need to do to make sure that was the happiest day of my life. Instead, it was probably one of the most saddest days of my life. So that's why, Evan, I'm sorry you made me rerun, my hatred and my nightmares I've had of Chelsea and why I
might not watch the game.
No, it's like when you're, you always knew your uncle was like in the war, like he went to Vietnam, and then he like tells you like his first crazy war story. That's how I feel right now. I'm like, holy crap, you went through it. And Grizz, it's so funny. Whenever I'm getting trolled by, rival fans in these group chats, whenever there's banter being exchanged, I always say, "Oh, I watched Gerrard slip. I can handle anything. I can take anything." You took that to a new level, a new dimension. I don't know what the word is, but I sympathize with you.
Evan, I left at I left at sort of 6 a.m. in the morning, and me and my friend, we were just, I remember, just £500 each. That's £1,000 just to go and sit in the worst away end, like
Oh,
Keith will tell. Yeah, Chelsea fans
wow.
are the, and we know what they're famous for and whatnot, right? So you got two, you know, Asian fellas sitting
Yeah.
in the Chelsea away end, right? Man, stop. Aspec Limited, thank you for the super chat. Congratulations, Mo Salah, now officially leading African Premier League player in history for goal contributions. Let
Wow.
the records keep coming, man. We're gonna keep breaking records, man. Mo Salah, Liverpool, we're gonna keep breaking records. Kisham says, appreciate super chat. He goes, that 13-14 game against Chelsea was on my birthday. Fuck. Sat down with good food and had to watch what happened. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say, my bro. You know what I mean? That is,
Yes.
what can you say? I haven't missed any more, have I, Evan?
I
Super
think
chat.
I think that's about it. But you know,
Yeah.
Neverman had the comment
that
of the
one up.
day when he was commenting on how much you spent for those tickets. He says that's a lot of super chats, Grace. £500.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's funny. Hey, if you can't laugh about it, then what's the
Nah,
point, right?
exactly. What's this, Conroy?
That was
Great
regard to the 51st date. If you've not seen it, and some of the chat are talking
Yeah,
about it, it's the Robert Carlyle scene when he's a Liverpool fan. He goes into a Manchester United bar and he sets
Oh,
off
shit.
fireworks and he says, you know, get it up using another few explicit
I'm
words.
telling you,
Check it out.
I'm telling you, that would have been me. That would have been me. You've got me so sidetracked from my agenda. I usually flow, but you've Evan fucked
No,
it there.
I mean, Grizz, you don't need an alarm clock. Your hatred for Chelsea wakes you up in the morning. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
It's
So, imagine what I'm going through right now in this lead up to the fucking, because it may be the League Cup, it may just be the Carabao Cup, right? But it's Chelsea. It's Chelsea. But as I said, today's not about Chelsea right now. Today's about sort of glorifying in what we've seen, the dismantling of Leeds United, the knocking on the door of Pep's mansion, and giving him sleepless nights. We're giving him sleepless nights, bro. He ain't sleeping tonight. He knows. Oh shit. He's got one of those tactic boards, right, in every room. And every room he's going in, he's trying to work out a different strategy. And his family are hating him right now. His kids are saying, Dad. His wife is saying, Pep, calm down. Calma. He's saying, no calma, bitch. No calma right now. This is mad. Do you know who's on my coattails? This is Liverpool Football Club. This is Jurgen Klopp. I cried about Mane, Salah, and Bobby. Now they've added Jota and fucking Luis Diaz. And they've got Lord Divock to come off the bench. No calma, honey. No calma. This is mad. We're about to light up this title race, guys. Before we wrap up, is there a man of the match in that comes in your mind, people? Conroy, I'll start off with you, my friend.
Yeah, just got to be. As much as say it's not a 10 out of 10 performance, I think for his moments in the game, I would give it to Salah. Shout out to Luis Diaz, thought it was excellent. But I think just in big moments of the game, Salah produced great decision making, especially not even the two penalties, which were brilliant, but the two assists, or the pre-assist and the assist. So my man in the match is Salah.
Okay, I don't know if we're gonna have a clean sweep here. Ivan?
I'm gonna add to this clean sweep. I think it's got to be Salah. Scores both penalties, creates the second chance, or creates the chance that leads to the second penalty, and then converts that penalty. Then pre-assist of the season, I'll just call it pass of the season so far. Pass of the season so far into Jordan Henderson. So it's got to be Mohamed Salah. Just an absolutely across the board, thorough attacking output.
Okay. Keith,
Yeah.
are we making this a clean sweep?
I'm just gonna have to be that guy and say so.
Go on.
What did you say? What did you say?
Yeah. No, so I said I'm sorry, lads. I'm not going to be making this a clean sweep. I have to be that guy. You'll hear me out. Notable mention, absolutely, to Mo Salah. Mo Salah completely changed the game again on the Ballon d'Or performance on the way to the Ballon d'Or. It is Ballon d'Or season, but for the man who got the clean sheet, for probably our best playmaker in the first half, and for the man who finally converted one of those mazy runs, I have to give it to Joel Matip. I think that goal, the clean sheet, the performance, and the outrageous flick over your head in the box when the other team is in there trying to attack you and then clearing it out in the most ridiculous fashion. All that, I thought he was just absolutely outstanding. It was a 10 out of 10 performance for me from him tonight. I thought he was brilliant. So yeah, he's my man of the match tonight.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There was a wrestling question for you from Mustafa, who missed you on Sunday. So he asked a boxing question instead, but I've
Nice.
lost it now. I've lost it. I don't know if I can find it. The wrestling question for you. Oh, here we go.
Yep. So I just wanted to quickly tell you that yes, I was right. Brock Lesnar did win the WWE Championship. By the way, for those non-wrestling fans, go and watch his interview with Pat McAfee. It is fucking brilliant. It's hilarious.
I'm not going to do that.
You don't watch wrestling just for the guy he is. Brilliant guy. And obviously Pat McAfee, ex-NFL player. Now he does commentary for WWE. This Roman Reigns 100% will be the unified world champion at WrestleMania.
And also,
well, it depends. You know, my missus just finished the weekend. Just finished the weekend. Yep.
Shout out to Miss Cross. We actually gave her a shout. I don't know if you watched the show.
Thank you. Yes.
Big up Miss Cross, man.
Yeah. Hey, when is Miss Cross fighting Brock Lesnar? When's that going to happen? When are we going to get asked about that?
Set that up.
Well, Brock Lesnar's got his work cut out, mate.
Nah, man, that's big up to Miss Cross, man. Listen, people, we've got to wrap it up, man. We can talk about this amazing club for hours and hours and nights, but we've done part of the job tonight for this week because it's a weekly mission. Every week is going to bring missions for that week. There's no rest for the wicked. And tonight we were the wickedest. And Leeds found out how wicked we can be. Let's hope Chelsea get some of that wickedness. As I said, deep breath, people, deep breath. The next few days will be full of content, and it's gonna be deep content. I've got a couple of Chelsea people that I'm gonna allow in the building. Make sure you guys are in the streams to give them hell. We want to make it intimidating. We want to make them feel the pressure. So, but that will be all sort of relayed to you guys in terms of information when we're hitting that out tomorrow. Okay, 1 second. Last super chat. It says Denver Bar prostrating that day. I was upset, but realizing Salah was in the background. God is the best of planners. Salah prostrating us to victory. Inshallah, brother, that would be amazing, man. I'm just picturing the scenes, man. You know, there's two scenes, guys. Let's just look at the positive scene, man. I don't want to
heartbreaker ecstasy. Ecstasy.
I don't know who's gonna do the show. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if you guys gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the show, guys. I'm telling you now. It's Chelsea. It's a final. I'm telling you guys now. I know it's my channel. I get all that, but I don't know if I'm gonna.
Avi's gonna have to step in.
I don't know. I don't know if Avi's strong enough as well. I don't know. I think
it's going to be me and Evan and Keith on a mobile phone somewhere when he's out the pub watching the game, like just streaming in.
Hey guys, remember, I'm the guy that doesn't care about the domestic cups because I'll be on here like, hey,
exactly.
You better live up to that, Ev, because we're going to be on the floor if it goes the wrong way.
But listen, now look, we fear nobody. Absolutely, we fear nobody. Period. Best vibes. Absolutely, we're going to go into it with absolutely no fear. And why should we? We're the most feared team in Europe, man, and there's no denying that. But let's hopefully we can get one mission at a time. This could be an amazing, amazing, sensational season. Stay with us, stick with us. You know, that's the best thing we can do. Support us. And I mean Liverpool. Support the channel as well. Support the guys' channels as well and their social medias. But the main thing is, man, up the mighty Reds. Yeah, Soccer God, go check him out. Conrad Talks, go check him out. Keith Cross, you'll find in every space that can be possibly be. You know what I mean? Big up Paulie's brothers, man. We out of here, man. We're tired. Take care.
Take care.